go ahead and share my screen.
All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Henry Liang. I'm a principal engineer with MKN and Associates, and I'm joined here with my colleague Amar Hanna, and we're going to be talking to you guys about civil engineering. So let's see, Amar, do you have your slides up?
Yes. Hi, everybody. This is Amar. I'm with MKN. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. We have the presentation. All right. Hopefully, everybody can see the screen.
Amar, okay, there we go. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So next slide, Amar. Okay, so today we're going to be talking to you first about succeeding in college. One of the reasons I asked my colleague Amar to join us is because he was extremely successful in college. He was a 4.0 student at Fresno State and graduated at the top of his class. So I asked him to share a few tips on what you guys may find helpful for you when you're in college. And then we're going to be talking about the civil engineering profession. I know that's why you guys are on this session, to learn about civil engineering. And we're going to be talking about the different emphasis of civil engineering. And then at the end, we'll have some time for some questions and answers. And then before we proceed, I did want to share some information about my firm, MKN and Associates. So you'll see a few websites here that will also paste into the chat. And I welcome you guys to visit our website, our social media platforms, such as LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And that's where you can learn a lot more about what MKN and Associates does in civil engineering.
Awesome. Thanks, Henry. So we're gonna talk a little bit about how to prepare for college. I know a lot of you guys might be seniors right now, getting ready to go to college. Number one is just to take your time. Think about what you want to major in. Talk to people, talk to your teachers, talk to your counselors, to your parents. Do your research, but also you want to be careful. Don't waste your time. A lot of people, when they go to college, they might start with something and then they switch, and then they switch, and they switch, and then you want to try to avoid that as much as you can. You don't want to stick with something you don't like, but just be wise with your time. Start planning early. It's never too early for scholarships, grants, loans. This is money that you don't have to pay back most of the times. Loans you do have to, grants and scholarships, there's just free money out there for you. Ask questions. Don't assume that everybody knows everything. A lot of times you just have to ask questions. Don't feel embarrassed because nobody just knows everything. How to succeed in college. So now you're done with high school, you are in college. You got to be involved. You got to be out there. You got to talk to people, talk to your professors. You got to form these relationships with people. A lot of times you'd think it's just going to school, going to class, and going back home. It's not just that. There's like a whole world out there for you to present yourself. You got to build a roadmap. Always have at least 2 semesters down the road planned out. Know what your classes are going to look like. Most universities and colleges actually tell you what they're going to offer, whether this class is offered all year long, it's only offered in spring, some classes only offered in the fall. So you need to have this planning with your advisor or counselor in college. Join professional clubs. For example, for civil engineers, we have the American Society of Civil Engineers. This is actually how I met Henry. And this is how we formed those relationships that we just talked about. Helps you a lot in the future, whether you're looking for a job, you want to learn more about the profession. Stay on top of it. Just all in all, just you got to make sure that you're on the right path. Like I said, always talk to people. Make sure that you're doing the right thing, and if you follow these steps, at least you're on the right path. And we're actually gonna have a Kahoot question quiz, and we're gonna award a $20 Amazon gift card for the winner. We're gonna have some questions about the slides, and as we go through the slides, we'll hit like a question, and then we'll go to the website. Right now, if you can go, I'll go to kahoot.it. I'm going to go ahead and launch it, and then it should give us a code, and we could all join. I'm going to go ahead and start it. So if you can all join on your smartphones, and then just tell me if you need more time, or we could all see the code.
And attendees, if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat, or you can use the Q&A button. Either one is fine.
All right, got Nicole in.
Since there's only 3 attendees, I do want to open it up to the Yosemite Valley staff as well.
I was just going to ask that question.
I wanted
to.
Well, I just threw myself in there because I want to win.
Oh, why not? They're fun questions. So.
See, this is why attending live works out.
Right?
That's right.
In our benefit. Okay, good job, you guys, to those who are able to attend live. Beautiful.
All right, we've got 6 people so far. All right, are we still waiting on anybody? Or should we go ahead and start it?
I think all of our attendees are in.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it, and we'll go to the first question. All right, let's see. All right, and the first question, how can you be successful in college? Okay, we got 5 answers. One more. All right, we got 5. Awesome. And
doesn't it show who doesn't it show the standings after the first question, or does it not do that?
We could hit next, but I don't want it to go. I'm afraid to go to the next question.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it shows the scores actually. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Awesome. So there is this video that we're going to play. It actually was going to introduce you guys to civil engineering in a very fun way. And it's about 2 minutes. And let's go.
What is civil engineering? Civil engineers combine creativity with imagination and technical expertise to design our built environments. But as a civil engineer, what will you do? You'll be designing sustainable buildings and bridges that bring people together. You'll be developing transport systems fit for our future. You'll be benefiting humanity by providing clean water, energy, food, and shelter. You'll be building a world resilient to climate change and natural disasters. Civil engineers are improving the quality of the built environment for all. Are these things you want to achieve? You might become a civil engineer if you like developing ideas to change the world, applying maths and science in an imaginative way, collaborating with others to work through challenging tasks, questioning how things are designed and built, using technology to find the most sustainable solutions, and seeing your ideas turned into reality. Studying civil engineering involves learning how to be a designer, developing the skills to tackle the world's sustainability issues, taking inspiration from experts in industry and academia, carrying out experiments to see how materials and structures behave, extending the boundaries of what is known through research, going on field trips to enrich your learning. By doing these things, you'll gain more than civil engineering theory. You'll have skills in design, problem solving, project management, and creative thinking. You can work in industries like structural and architectural engineering, water engineering, geotechnical engineering, and transport and infrastructure, preparing you to make an impact on the world sustainably.
Awesome. So that was it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So just like we just heard, there's civil engineering has 5 main branches. And Henry, is something you wanted to talk about real quick?
Yeah, I'll jump in, Amar. Thanks. So as Amar mentioned, civil engineering is really broken down into smaller emphasis. And here are 5 of the main emphasis that are comprised of civil engineering. So water resource engineering, and that is an area of emphasis that my firm, MK and Associates, specializes in. There's also structural engineering, which is dealing with buildings and bridges. There's transportation engineering, which deals with roadways, highways, environmental engineering, which is similar to water engineering, but broader than just water, things like air quality and our environment. And then there's also geotechnical engineering, which is the study of soils and different soil parameters. So we're going to be talking about 3 of these in more detail today.
And we're going to have a Kahoot question just before we start talking about the specifics of civil engineering. And you guys get ready. So which of the following is not a branch of civil engineering? All right, so we got 4 right and 2 wrong. Let's see. And we still have Hannah on top. All right.
Right. Okay, so what we're going to focus on water resources engineering first. So what do water engineers do? And here's a list of 5 of the key things that water engineers do. So drinking water treatment. Obviously water is important for us to survive, and ensuring that we have safe drinking water is something that's very important in our society. So civil engineers ensure that the water coming out of our taps and shower heads are safe to drink. We also deal with wastewater treatment, which is basically the what flushes down our toilets and what goes down our sink drains, right? That water needs to be treated and processed. So wastewater treatment is another aspect of water resource engineering. Although it doesn't seem like it, we actually get rain in California, and that rain usually has to be controlled and managed. So designing and planning stormwater collection systems is also another aspect of water resource engineering. Another item is master planning and groundwater balancing. A lot of our water supply comes from our groundwater, and we need to figure out how to get that water to our faucets and our taps. So that's another aspect of water resource engineering. And then the last one is really applicable to all the emphasis, but construction management and quality control. That's something that's important in all the areas of engineering, but it's basically one function that we perform. Okay, so I wanted to go through the water life cycle because I think this will really paint a complete picture of what water resource engineering is all about and how it's basically all around us. So this is a graphic of the water life cycle, and it's the water life cycle basically can start either as rain or snow in the mountains or as groundwater. So Amar, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so I'm going to start in this graphic by just talking about, rain or snow that starts off in the mountains. It's basically, rain or snow melt that ends up running off into the rivers, and usually along any major river, there's reservoirs or dams that have been constructed to help impound the water and store the water. So that's kind of the first step. So from there, usually the dam will control the release of the water, either down rivers or down canals or channels that basically convey the water down to either a raw water pump station or a water treatment plant. And depending on where it goes, that's where the water will get treated. So all the water that lands in the mountains and goes down rivers and streams and creeks or canals, that's called raw water or surface water, because it's basically water that just lands on the surface. And obviously that water is not safe to drink, right? You have to treat it before we can actually drink it. So it goes through a water treatment plant, and the water treatment plant is a very complicated facility that's basically kind of like a glorified Brita filter, where that might be, the water is going to go through a series of different treatment processes, usually 3 or 5 different advanced treatment processes. And that water gets basically purified and treated to where it's safe for us to drink. So from there, it will then get either pumped straight into our distribution system, which is basically the pipelines that serve our houses, or it'll go into storage tanks, because a lot of times we need to make sure there's water available. So usually in your city or your neighborhood, there's going to be some type of storage that stores the water as well. From there, that's when we basically consume the water, right? We wash our hands, we take showers, we water our lawns. That water basically gets consumed, and then it goes to the wastewater side. And that's kind of, now we're looking at the green arrows and boxes. So once we flush water down our toilets or down our sinks, it goes into the sewer collection system. And then from the sewer collection system is basically another set of pipes that are in our streets that ultimately take the wastewater to the wastewater treatment plant. And the wastewater treatment plant is where the wastewater is then treated. And it basically has to be treated, because if we just discharge raw sewage into our streams and rivers or oceans, then it would basically kill our environment, right? And that's a lot, and that's actually what we see in a lot of third world countries. You can't necessarily go play in those rivers or swim in those oceans because it's filled with sewage. But fortunately in America, we have a very advanced, sophisticated system where we have these wastewater treatment plants that's basically treating the wastewater almost to drinking water quality. And then once it's treating it to that standard, then that water can either be reused or disposed of by percolating it into the ground. And that's really the full water life cycle. And I wanted to walk through it because, as you can see, it's pretty much our entire environment. And a civil engineering project that has to deal with water could be the planning or design of any of these processes. So you can just picture how much goes behind when we turn on our faucets, how much goes behind getting that water to a safe quality where you can basically drink it right out of your tap. And then what people often forget is what happens when you flush it down your toilet. Well, it doesn't just disappear. It's going through this complicated collection system and then ultimately a wastewater treatment plant before the water can then get treated and then disposed of safely and properly.
Awesome. Thank you, Henry. And to conclude the water engineering profession, we're going to have actually a Kahoot quiz where we're going to ask a question related to what Henry just talked about. And the question is going to be, which of the following do water engineers not do? All right, got 3 answers in, 4.
Amar, I think you made the questions too hard.
Oh man, didn't mean to, but that's fine. We'll have 2 fun questions towards the end where you can't really go wrong. All right, let's go. And then we got Still, all right. Okay, Hannah is keeping it first place. All right. And now there are two more civil engineer professions that we're going to talk about. The second one is going to be structural engineering. And what do structural engineers do? They perform calculations, structural calculations for buildings and bridges. They also test and evaluate building materials. So they work on concrete for bridges, for roads. They work on the strength of these materials. They work on it to ensure the safety of these structures. Especially here in California, we have a problem with earthquakes. Other states have problems with hurricanes, with high wind. This is why structural engineers in California, for example, have to take extra tests for their like seismic analysis and how to make a structure withstand like an earthquake, for example. An example is of like a structural engineering project is the Sophie Stadium in California. This is actually a very fun project because it doesn't only involve structural engineering, just like any other civil engineering project. There's a lot of different aspects to it. For example, there's surveying. They got to check the land before they build it. They have to check the soil if it could withstand a structure like that. There's also a grading and drainage. They have to make sure that all the rainwater, all the landscaping water could go away from the building. Structural engineering is definitely the biggest aspect of this. And as you can see, this is a very complicated structure. You see that it's actually there's actually ceiling, so it's a covered structure, and it's a huge amount of space that they have to cover. Mechanical engineering, of course, because of the different aspects, again, all the seating areas, all the ADA compliance for all these huge areas again. All right, and we're going to have another Kahoot question, and this should be a fun question. And let's see, the next question is going to be, it's a multi-select, so feel free to choose more than one. And this is going to take us back actually to the water life cycle that Henry just talked about. So where the water that you drink comes from, again, feel free to choose more than one. All right, right on. Actually, all the answers were correct. So whichever one you chose, you got the right answer.
I thought too hard about that. I should have just gone for it. I ran out of time, so don't feel bad. It's like, oh no.
There you go. And then, yeah, so for the multiple selects, feel free to choose more than one because it will give you more credit. Let's go to the next one.
Oh, Megan took the lead. Look at that.
Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so we're gonna go to the next question and get ready. And the Sophie Stadium was built by, let's see how many football fans we got here. All right, we got 4 answers in. All right, we got 4 correct answers. Awesome. All right, let's see. And I think we have one more question about structural engineering, and then we'll move to the next one. Structural engineers work on. All right, 4 answers. All right, and it's building and bridges. Awesome. And then we have Megan. All right, so far. And then we're gonna have 2 more Kahoot questions, so stay with us. And then the next civil engineering emphasis we're gonna talk about is transportation engineering. What do transportation engineers do? Transportation engineers, they study and analyze traffic movement. They take care of the design of the streets, the roads, and the highways. They ensure that traffic can flow in a nice way to where we don't cause any car crashes and any traffic jams. People could get to their jobs easy, on time, and safe. They work on pavement design, so they are the ones who are gonna pick the materials and what is the cross section of the street is gonna look like. And then a road design in an eastern state is different than a road design in western state, right? Because of the temperature, for example. They also innovate new transportation technologies. We're seeing all these new cars and all these autonomous vehicles, which definitely will need new road designs. They can't just use the existing structure that we have, and this is what transportation engineers work on. An example of a project in transportation engineering is the California high-speed rail. And this is the construction that you see on 99 most of the times, building those bridges, right? Those pieces of the high-speed rail. And the goal is to connect Los Angeles to San Francisco, going all the way, providing a very fast way of communication. This is a picture of what it would eventually look like. This is a project. This is a huge transportation project because it's awarded to different companies, and a lot of different construction companies are working on it. It's not just one person taking the lead. It's also spanning over a long period of time. In comparison, we can look at another transportation engineering project, which is actually a very, I guess, like a shorter period of time. It's very community oriented, so it's actually a smaller scope, which is the roundabouts at Fresno State. If you've ever been to that area, they have two nice roundabouts at campus points. That's where all the shops are, the movie theater. Roundabouts is a transportation engineering specific projects. They are pedestrian friendly. They actually improve traffic circulation. They're way more efficient than just a regular intersection with a four-way stop sign or a traffic light. Because they have fewer vehicle conflict points. Conflict points are, in transportation engineering, are points that actually contribute to car accidents. The higher vehicle conflict points you have, the higher car crashes rate that you have on that intersection. And that brings it to the end of our presentation about transportation engineering and civil engineering in general. And we're gonna conclude with two more Kahoot questions. Again, if it says multiple selection, please feel free to choose as many answers as you need. And the next question is going to be, roundabouts reduce car crashes because. All right, got 5 answers. And yep, they have fewer car conflict points. Have fewer lanes, not necessarily, because some roundabouts are actually huge, and then they actually have as many lanes as the street leading to them would have. All right, the final answer, the final question, we have still Megan, number 1, and then the final answer, that shouldn't be too hard to answer. Final question, I mean, and it's going to be, who is your favorite water engineering firm? You got 4 options. Feel free to choose whichever one you want. And the more you choose, the more answers you choose, the higher credit you get. So just remember that.
This one was a multi-select, Amar?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, there we go. And let's see who's the winner of our Amazon gift card. All right. We got
wow.
Megan, 3rd place, and 2nd place, and we got the 1st place. Drum roll. Nicole.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. That was so fun, you guys. Thank you for
That was so much fun.
Are we able to get Nicole's email? Nicole, can you type in your email so we can mail you a gift card?
Yeah, you can send it to one of us if you don't want to put it in publicly, or in the Q&A. Either way is good.
All right, so we did actually get Nicole's
You
email.
put it
the
in
group
there.
chat.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats, Nicole. We'll go
And
ahead
congratulations, Hannah. Also, you're so close. You
Oh,
guys
yeah,
did
that's
awesome.
And
Well,
then,
I don't know. I don't know if it's a hard stop at 12:30, but if it's not, we're available if anyone has questions.
No, I think we're good. And let me check our next time, but I think we're good, right, Elizabeth?
Our next time is at 12:45. So yeah, we have just a couple minutes. If anyone has any questions, put in Q&A or you can put them in the chat. We really enjoyed this. You guys were
This
awesome
was so much fun. I know.
This was really
thanks for
awesome.
having us, guys.
I'm glad I had an expert like Amar to be able to run Kahoot.
No, that was
great.
perfect. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
I want to ask you back already for next year. So I'm just putting it out there already.
Yeah,
We'll be happy.
We
happy
would
to.
love it.
And I just have to say, you know, I didn't know much about civil engineering, but this is super interesting to me. Just all of the projects and how just you impact like everybody's daily life. It's really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
I learned a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really hard to miss it. Like, well, anywhere you go, really, you're gonna have to notice something that a civil engineer did. And
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive. Yeah, thank you.
Very cool. And I so wanted to answer on that roundabout one that it just looks nice because I love the way they look, especially when they look beautiful. Yes.
they beautify the areas that they're actually in. It looks really modern and
absolutely.
It's just all in all, it's easy to use. It's not complicated and
yeah.
And nothing drives me more nuts than having to stop at a red light when nobody's there, you know?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So I love that about them. Just keep going. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate the civil engineers' work too. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. We appreciate your presentation and the job that you do.
Right? I know. It's amazing.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Well, looks like there's no questions, huh?
Yeah, I guess not.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to stop the recording and then we have a few minutes.